There are hundreds of thousands of influencers out there, and so in order to stand out when you reach out to a brand, you need to be very clear about what you're envisioning a collaboration together will look like and why they should pick you out of any other influencer. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Austin and I am a fashion and beauty content creator based in New York City. I'm passionate about helping micro-influencers make money and get paid to create. So if that sounds like you, be sure to subscribe to my channel for new videos from me every Tuesday. Today, I want to talk about pitching brands and some do's and don'ts. I see a lot of newer influencers making some easily avoidable mistakes. So I want to share 5 mistakes to avoid when pitching brands and what to do instead. If you'd like more tips after you watch this video, I do have my ebook Right on Pitch linked down in the description box, and that is my complete pitching guide with negotiation tips and a pitch checklist and more, so definitely check that out. Without further ado, let's get into it. The first mistake I see new creators making is pitching brands too soon. And I understand the desire to start reaching out to brands and start working with people, but I think that it does take a little bit of establishing yourself and building up an audience before you reach out to a brand. So when exactly should you start reaching out to brands? Well, there's no real rule here because there's so much of the influencer industry that's new. But if you're asking me, I would say that once you have 1,000 followers on whatever your main posting platform is, that could be Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, whichever one you choose, and that you're posting consistently and have an engaged audience, that is when I would start reaching out to brands. Kind of sounds like a lot of work, doesn't it? Well, welcome to being an influencer. Because think about it like this. If you just started creating and you have, a couple hundred followers, but you're not really getting too much engagement, you maybe haven't accumulated that audience yet, it's going to be a little hard to sell a brand on wanting to work with you unless there's something really, really unique about your content and your audience. So the best way to reach your first 1,000 followers on any platform is to post consistently on one main topic with maybe 1 or 2 supporting topics, and make sure that your content is providing value to your audience. And value looks different for all different niches, but you generally want to make sure that your content is entertaining, inspirational, or educational. It's never too early to start creating great content with the brands that you hope to work with one day, which brings me to my second mistake that I see creators making. And that is reaching out and pitching brands that you have never used before. And here's the reason that I consider this to be a mistake. There may be brands out there that you want to try, but maybe their product is too expensive or you just haven't really gotten around to it, but you still think it might be interesting. But if you want to start pitching collaborations with brands, whether they be gifted or paid, it's going to feel a lot more authentic to your audience if it's a brand you've mentioned before. Not only that, but the content you create using the brands you love can often attract those brands to find you and ultimately hire you to work together. If you want an example of this, I posted, maybe 10 or 15 videos on this YouTube channel about Glossier products before Glossier approached me to work together. And that was because I was already creating great content using the brand that I loved and was sharing about authentically. So start there, because especially when you are a micro or nano influencer, the trust of your audience is the thing that can make or break you. And you don't want to start posting about products that you've never even used before. As you're starting to warm your audience up to the idea of you creating content in partnership with brands in some way, shape, or form, it's going to feel much more authentic if it's a brand you already use and love. Plus, it makes a stronger case when you ultimately do reach out to the brand, because then you can show them that you've already been posting about them and you can show your audience's reaction. That's called social proof, because you're validating that your audience actually cares about this product that you're talking about. Many of you guys are on Four, which is an influencer marketing platform where you can get matched with brands and see all of your statistics in one place. They actually have something very cool that not a lot of people know about called the Content tab. And what you can do is click on the Content tab and then sort by social media profile or by date to find any kind of name or search term. So you can search brand names like ASOS, Glossier, Primark, and see what comes up. And then you can actually create a link and send that page to a brand. If I were a brand and a creator reached out to me and I saw that they already created like 15 organic posts about us and that there was great engagement from their audience, I would be pretty inclined to at least hear out their pitch and see if there's a way to work together. Let's move on to the third pitching mistake that I see creators making, which is making it all about you. I think a lot of people want to become influencers initially because they think it will lead to getting a lot of free stuff and just getting paid to post any random thing on Instagram. But as many of you guys know already, that is not the case at all. And if you reach out to a brand and you are asking for them to send you free things, that can come off as very rude. It really can at the end of the day. So before you reach out to a brand, instead of asking yourself, what can they do for me? You should really be trying to communicate, how can you provide value for them? Maybe you want to reach out to a beauty brand that is really targeted towards Gen Z, and you can show from your Instagram analytics that your audience is 80% ages, I don't know, what is Gen Z these days, like 17 to 25? Or maybe the brand's photography and product shots are not very engaging or interesting, but you take beautiful photos of your products in your bedroom. And so you can offer to do a collaboration where you use your own unique photography style, you share that with your audience, and you really elevate the brand through brand awareness and make them seem super cool. I'm sure you know already, but there are hundreds of thousands of influencers out there. And so in order to stand out when you reach out to a brand, you need to be very clear about what you're envisioning a collaboration together will look like and why they should pick you out of any other influencer. So the more you can approach it from a service mindset, thinking how you can add value to them, the more likely they will be to read and respond to your pitch email. Mistake number 4 that I see creators make when they reach out to brands is sending your rates right away. Always try to understand the brand's budget first, because you might be leaving money out on the table, and not to mention there could be additional factors to a brand campaign beyond just the post itself. You know, there could be usage rights, there could be exclusivity, maybe it's a really quick turnaround and they need it like in 3 days, and that's going to require you moving your schedule around a bit. So that's kind of why I like to wait to send my rates. Once we've agreed what posting platform we are going to be on and any kind of terms like exclusivity or usage, then I can adjust my rates accordingly, because I typically have a base rate in my head for what I would want the brand to pay for content specifically, but then if we're adding in some additional factors, that can increase the price. And if you want any more tips about pricing yourself and all of the different factors that can account for a rate going higher and higher in a brand campaign, I do have this video right here where we talk all about influencer rates and what to charge for your content. So I will leave a link to that video so you can go check it out next. The 5th and final mistake that I see influencers making when they reach out to brands is trying to pitch directly over Instagram DM. And as far as mistakes go, this isn't really the worst one, but it's not very professional and it will likely get lost in the shuffle of all of the other DMs over on Instagram. I think that if you are pitching a brand, especially if you're pitching for a paid collaboration, that's what you ultimately want to walk away with, you should treat it as professionally as possible. And so to me, that means pitching via email. What you can do with Instagram DMs is use that as an opportunity to connect with the brand and get some name recognition. So as I was talking about earlier, you want to be creating great content with brands that you love and would ideally like to work with. And a super easy way to do that is to create Instagram story content and tag the brand. When you tag the brand, if they choose to, they can reply to your tag, and a lot of beauty brands specifically do this and will say things like, that shade looks great on you, or isn't that eye cream the best? And that opens up now a DM thread with you and a brand on Instagram. So my recommendation for the best way to utilize Instagram DMs in terms of pitching brands would be to create a post or two where you tag the brand, you know, maybe a week or two apart, a couple of weeks apart, and then reach out and say, hey, like, I am a creator, I know you've liked my posts in the past, and I was really hoping to reach out to someone on your influencer team or your marketing team to discuss a potential collaboration. Would you be able to share an email address of someone who might be able to help with that? And then that social media person might be able to direct you to the other department. It's not really common for the person who is answering those DMs on social media to be running the influencer campaigns, and if you just send a pitch via DM, it might not get forwarded to the right person. So this is a great way to get the email contact of someone who works at the brand you're hoping to work with. To give you a quick recap of what we covered in today's video, first of all, make sure you're not pitching too early. Make sure you have an established audience and following before you reach out to brands to work together. Secondly, focus on pitching brands that you know and love rather than pitching any brand that you see working with other content creators so that it feels authentic to you and your audience. For number 3, remember, stop making it all about you. You should be focused on how you can serve the brand and add value for them. Number 4, don't send your rates right away. If possible, try to get a gauge of the budget from the brand so that you can account for how to price yourself. And number 5, avoid pitching directly over Instagram DM, send a professional email and see how it goes. And if you're ready to write that pitch email, be sure to check out one of my most recent videos about how to write the ultimate pitch email. I go over everything that you should be including in a brand pitch to get them to open and respond to your email. And it's worked for me to pitch brands that I have worked with and brands that have paid me, so I hope that it helps you too. And that's it for me, you guys. I hope you enjoyed these 5 do's and don'ts of pitching brands. Again, my ebook is linked down below in the description box if you want additional pitching help or information. That is sort of my overall best pitching advice all in one place, so feel free to check it out. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for new videos every Tuesday. Let me know what other videos you might like to see from me in the future, and I will see you guys again next week. Bye!